Hello, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to track students' performance over time by particular TEKs. We can do this for our whole entire class, and we can also do this by individual students. So to do that, I'm going to start on my Analyze tab and go to all my students. I'm going to open up to a particular assessment. With the first assessment that I choose doesn't necessarily matter. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be tracking my class's performance over my graphing and coordinate planes unit in math. So I'm going to open up that first assessment, and then I'm going to come up, and because I want to get learning standard data, first thing you want to do before you edit this data view is let's choose our learning standard breakdown quick view. So I've got my first assessment, I've got all my learning standards, and then now I'm going to go ahead and click my edit button so I can bring over some more assessments. So on my test tab, because I want to compare multiple assessments over time, I'm going to be dragging over some more assessments that I gave within this unit of graphing on the coordinate plane. And then if I have any CFAs or any district unit assessments, I'm going to bring those over also. Remember, whichever assessment was the oldest, put up towards the top all the way down in chronological order down to the most recent. That's why it's always a good idea to put in some kind of information about the date that you gave the assessment, as well as the type of information that was being assessed on that assessment. I'm going to come over to my columns tab. Now this is going to be a whole lot of extra information, so I'm going to be dragging over everything except for I'm going to keep my all learning standards and then my percent score. That way I can see how they're doing across all the TEKs on each assessment, and then also just their total score for that assessment. I'm going to come to the Summarize tab, and I'm going to clear that out because I'm only going to be looking at my class summary data and also my individual student data. Once I do that, I click Update. And right now, it would be very difficult to compare how my students did on, let's say, 5.8a across multiple assessments. So what I would recommend that you do is you come up to this button right here. If I hover over it, it says Compare Across Tests. This is an excellent button to press to try out a view to see how students are doing across multiple assessments like this, and it compares the same exact information. So I can see 5.1c, how the student did across multiple assessments. It was only assessed my first assessment. However, I've got 5.1e was assessed the first assessment and the second one, so I can compare that progress, and then 5a was on my first and on my third assessment. That's why I chose one particular unit so that I could find some TEKs that were assessed across multiple assessments. So in order to better view this, what I would suggest is you could do a couple of things. You could either leave it like this and export it to Excel as you like. You could click that color button. It will color code everything that's below 70% in red, and then all the 70s in orange, 80s in yellow, and 90s or 100 in green. But then there's this other button that's really interesting, Color by Comparison. When I click that, it allows me to compare over time if the student is getting better, if they're sliding, or if they are staying about the same. So for example, for this student on this TEK, they started at 100, and I can see the next time they tested, they were at 0. This student, their percent score was at 40. They went up to 50, so it's green, and then back down to 20. So I can track that progress over time. This student, for example, has been sliding across multiple assessments on their percent score, since that's what that column is right there, that row. So that's how you can use the coloration in order to better view that data. Now this is giving me student summary data. If I wanted to click on my teacher summary data, I could do that. And this is giving me all of the teachers on my campus, so that we could have some PLC conversations about how we are doing as teaching these TEKs over time. Are the instructional strategies that we're trying out, are they helping our students improve or not, so that we can aid our PLC conversations.